Greetings, beautiful people. Welcome back to Find XYZ. If you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe. This is the finale of the equation of the line series. In today's episode, we are going to demonstrate that lines have relationships, and we are going to look at two of the famous relationships. The first one is parallel lines. What are they? Personally, I think they are soulmates. They walk the same path, but they never touch. This is an example of lines that are parallel. One thing you should take note of lines that are parallel is that they have the same gradient. So take note. Anytime we say two lines are parallel, they have the same gradient also. Once the gradient changes, it means that the lines will meet. So for parallel lines, they are always going to have the same gradient and they never meet. Let's move on to the second relationship. This is another relationship. They are very dramatic. They crash into each other exactly at 90 degrees. So they meet at 90 degrees. Now let's look at this example. We have two lines that are meeting because they are perpendicular lines. They intersect at an angle of 90 degrees. However, there's something spectacular about these two lines. Their gradients are not the same. Let's look at this line. It is perpendicular to this line. Now because these two lines are perpendicular, you can clearly see they are meeting at an angle of 90 degrees. Now let's calculate the gradient for the first line. So the gradient is rise over run. So let's look at line 1. Line 1, the red line. So the gradient for line 1 is, what is the rise? We go up how many units? 3 units. So 3 over, then move forward how many units? 4 units. So 3 over 4. Now let's look at the gradient for yellow line, which is line 2. What is the rise? Clearly you are rising 4 units, but this time you are running backwards. And when you run backwards, you have negative. Are they having the same gradient? No. What can you say about the gradient? Do you see any pattern? We flip the fraction that is reciprocal and change the sign. So when we flip 3 over 4, we'll get 4 over 3, and when we change the sign, we'll get negative. So anytime two lines are perpendicular, what you do is you take the negative reciprocal. So we say m1 is equal to negative 1 over m2. So take note, perpendicular lines are negative reciprocal of each other. Is that okay? So when you take the negative reciprocal of 1, you get the other one. And additionally, the product of the two gradients is always equal to negative 1. So for example, m1 and m2 should give us negative 1 if line 1 is perpendicular to line 2. So when you have two lines and the product of their gradient is negative 1, then you can state that the two lines are perpendicular. So let's demonstrate with these two lines. So the first gradient is 3 over 4 multiplying negative 4 over 3. 3 divides 3, then 4 divides 4. So you are left with negative 1. Anytime two lines are perpendicular, the rule is that you flip the fraction and you change the sign. Let's take some few examples. In this given example, we are tasked to find the equation of a line which is parallel to the line y plus 3x minus 2 equal to 0 and passes through the point negative 1, 2. Now what is the keyword? Parallel. What do you know about parallel lines? Parallel lines have the same gradient. So it means that the equation that we are going to find has the same gradient as the given equation. And what is the given equation? Y plus 3x minus 2 is equal to 0. So how do we find the gradient? What we can do is, what are the ingredients for finding the equation of a line? The ingredients are 2, the gradient, and a point on the line. We have the point on the line which has been given, but we don't know the gradient. However, we've been told that these two lines are parallel, and we know that when two lines are parallel, it means that they share the same gradient. So we can find the gradient of this line and apply it to our new equation. So we have y. How do we find the gradient from this line? Whenever you are given an equation, you can arrange it in the slope-intercept form and find the gradient. Now this is the slope-intercept form. Y is equal to mx plus c. Once you arrange this way, the coefficient of x, which is m, becomes the gradient of the line. So let's arrange our equation in the slope-intercept form. So what do? We have y plus 3x minus 2 is equal to 0. So what can we do? We can subtract 3x from both sides of the equation, and we can add 2 to both sides of the equation. We are just applying the inverse. So we have y being equal to, this will give us 0. This will also give us 0. So we have negative 3x plus 2. We are done arranging. So what is the coefficient of x, which is negative 3? So what is the gradient? The gradient, which is m, is equal to negative 3. Now we have been told that these two lines are parallel. So it means that we can use the same gradient for the equation that we are going to find. So the gradient is negative 3. They have the same gradient because they are parallel. And then the point is negative 1, 2. We can either use the point slope form or the slope intercept form to find the equation of the line. In this example, I'm going to use the point slope form. So which is y minus y1 is equal to mx minus x1. So let's label our point as x1, y1. So let's substitute. We have y minus, what is y1? 2 is equal to m, that is negative 3. X minus, what is x1? That is negative 1. Let's simplify. So we have y minus 2 is equal to negative multiplying negative will be positive. So take note of that. So let's expand. So we have negative 3 multiplying x, that will give us negative 3x. The negative times positive 1, that will give us negative 3. Let's add 2 to both sides of the equation to eliminate 2. So we have y being equal to negative 3x. Then we have negative 3 plus 2, that will give us negative 1. So this is the equation of the given line. Then we have y plus 3x minus 2 is equal to 0. We are saying that these two lines are parallel, right? So let's plot it. These two lines will never meet because they have the same gradient and they are parallel. Let's try another example. In this question, we have been told to find the equation of a line which is perpendicular, take note, to the line y is equal to 2x minus 1 and passes through the point 2, 5. Now, whenever you are asked to find the equation of the line, you need two ingredients. You need a gradient of the line and you need a point on the line. You have been given the point which is 2, 5. However, we don't know the gradient yet, but we are told it is perpendicular to the line y is equal to 2x minus 1. Now, we are saying that when two lines are perpendicular, it means that you take the negative reciprocal, you flip the fraction, then you change the sign. So let me write it here. Find the gradient first. Then after finding the gradient, because they are perpendicular, you flip the fraction. That is reciprocal. Then you change the sign. So let's do that. How do you find the gradient from a given equation? We arrange it in this form. Y is equal to mx plus c, which is, fortunately for us, it has already been arranged in that form. So what do? We pick the coefficient of x, which is 2. 2 can be written as 2 over 1, right? Which is the same as 2. Then what do? Flip the fraction. Let's flip it, or let's reciprocate it. We have 1 over 2. Then we change the sign. This is positive, so we change it to be negative. So we are going to use this as our gradient. So let's write it down. Our gradient is negative 1 over. Now we have our ingredient to find the equation of that line. We are going to use the slope intercept form, which is y is equal to mx plus c. We have our m to be negative half, and this is our x and this is our y. Let's substitute in these values to find c, which is the y intercept. What is y? That is 5 is equal to m, which is negative 1 over 2 multiplying x. What is x? X is 2 plus c. Negative half times 2 give us negative 1. Then we have 5 is equal to negative 1 plus c. We'll add 1 to both sides of the equation. That will give us c to be equal to 5 plus 1. That will give us 6. Then once we have c and we know our gradient, we'll just substitute it in the slope intercept form. So our final equation will be y is equal to, what is the gradient? Negative 1 over 2 multiplying x plus c. What is c? That is 6. So this is our equation of the line. Now this equation is perpendicular to y is equal to 2x minus 1. What does this mean? It means that these two lines will meet at an angle of 90 degrees, exactly 90. So let's find out. Let's go to GeoGebra and plot this and see whether these two lines will meet at an angle of 90 degrees. Let's plot the second line. Let's plot the second line, which is, let's see the line. Clearly, we can see that these two lines are meeting. But to confirm whether these two lines are meeting at an angle of 90 degrees, because you have already stated that for two lines to be perpendicular, you have to meet at an angle of 90 degrees, right? So let's measure the angle. So angle A, B, C, clearly we have 90 degrees. So it means that these two equations of the lines are perpendicular. One thing I want to add is that whenever you don't see perpendicular, you see the word orthogonal. So take note of that. If you enjoyed this video, kindly leave a comment, subscribe, and share this video to all your friends. Don't forget to share, okay? Share this video to all your friends. See you in the next video. I'm out.